What's up, everybody? It's March 30th, 2021, and let's start out today with Super Checkers. If you haven't gotten a Super Checkers board, I highly suggest picking up a Super Checker board. I actually had to relearn how to play in the last couple days because apparently I didn't know the rules, and that's fine. You can find that on Snapchat, but anyways, so recalling some of the events of last night. I'm driving, like I'm going to the gas station, and the cops pull me over. Okay. Actually, it didn't go down like that. Let me take a step back. I'm turning, and a cop pulls up next to me, and then jacks on their brakes, and I have to get over. I have to get into the lane he's in, and he's like riding next to me, right? And I know he's gonna pull me over. I don't have plates on my car, but my car's legal. So he left me no choice. I had to cut him off because if I would have tried to slow down, he would have thought I was trying to pull him over. So he just kept slowing down. And so I sped up, cut him off to take my turn because otherwise I have to go all the way down the road and back. And so I take my turn, and here comes the cop. He's behind me, and I'm like, okay, great. You know when you're about to get pulled over, right? You know what's about to happen. So I'm like, whatever. I'm legal. There's no drugs in my car, no weapons in my car. I don't have any warrants. At least that's what I think. But so I get pulled over, inevitably get pulled over, and then the cop comes creeping up to the passenger window of my car, right? And so the cop comes up the passenger window of my car, and I'd already taken my keys out of ignition. I didn't think about like rolling down the window out of courtesy for the cop to come. I don't even know what window they're coming up to, but anyway, so I took the keys out of my car. Cop comes up and was like, tat 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 with the flashlight, and I'm like, okay. And so they're like, roll down the window. And I'm like, okay. So I put both my hands in the air and both hands reaching for the keys, because, I'm white. Trust me, white people get shot too. And I'll get into that here in a minute. But so I give them my title, and I give them my registration or whatever, or the just saying like my little pink slip. And I have my mom on the phone, right? Because my mom was going to send me my insurance card. I hadn't gotten it from her yet, and I asked her if she could send it to me. And so they're like, well, can you call your mom back? I'm like, do you want my insurance card or not? Because, like, one, you left me no choice to cut you off. Now you got me pulled over. Now you're asking me for things that I'm trying to get, and you're telling me to cut off my source that has them. So, do you want my insurance card or not, And so my mom, of course, Geico was down last night, and she couldn't find the insurance card. Not that she really was required to answer my phone call at 11 at night anyways. I'm an ass. I should really have all those things together, but I don't. And so the cop takes my paperwork. They go back to their car, right? And then a male cop comes up to my driver's side. And so my driver's side window is broken, and I completely forgot. But he knocks on the window, and I roll it down, and it just falls. Okay, it just falls, and like he already like jumped back. I'm surprised he didn't pull a gun out, but it falls, and then he's like, "So, Detective Yak, whatever it was like blah blah blah. We just pulled up on the scene, and she's requesting that we take the K9 unit and search her vehicle." And I'm like, it's a bit extreme. That's fine. Go ahead. I was like, do you need me to step out for that? And he's like, no, actually, can you roll up all your windows? Now I'm looking at the broken window, right? I'm like, here it goes. Okay. So I was like, can I step out of the car for a second to try to get this window back up? And so I got my window back up. Cops sitting there watching me. Couldn't help. But anyway, so the window comes back up, and I'm back in the car, and then the cop goes walking back to his car, and then all of a sudden I just hear, put your hands on the roof of the car, and I'm like, ain't y'all done enough yet? Hands on the roof of the car. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you about to search my car with a dog, and now I have to have my hands on the roof of the car? Anyway, so hands on the roof of the car. They get this fucking dog out, right? And this thing is clawing at my window with teeth foaming. Like, it probably had rabies. But it's right there in my face. It's like, ah! And I'm like, ah! And, like, I just bought the car. I figured, hey, maybe there's like a fucking roach or something on the floor. I don't know. It's not my car. Like, I just bought it. And anyways, so this dog's clawing at my car. You know, if my car looks like it got keyed. But, you know, you don't see me fucking complaining. Anyways, so dog's doing this thing around my car. My hands are on the roof of the car. Cop goes back to his car with the dog. And I'm like, okay, that dog was acting erratic. They're definitely going to search my vehicle now. And so I'm sitting there, right? You know, hands still on the roof of the car, right? And by then, my hands are getting fucking tired. Like, my arms are tired. I'm a fat guy. My arms are tired. And so then the cop comes up to the window of my car, taps on it, and here I am rolling this broken ass window down again. I'm like, and it's like clam, throw it right. It hits the ground, and he's like, "You can relax now." And I'm like, "That was fucking scary, man." He's like, "What?" I was like, "That's a big ass dog. It was foaming. It was like it was trying to attack me." And then he goes back to his car, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is great. This is great. I made it this far. I'm not dead yet. I haven't been shot. And then the female cop comes up to the other side of my car and she's like, "Do you have an ID?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Where is it located?" And I was like, in my wallet. Like, where else do you put a fucking ID? It's in my wallet. And she's like, "With both hands, can you grab your wallet?" And I'm like, you know how hard that is? Like, can I just use one hand and keep my other one on the roof of the car or something? Like, with both hands, grab your wallet. So I'm sitting there trying to grab my wallet with two hands. It just looks terrible. Anyways, I gave her my ID. They went back to the car. And then she comes back and she's like, "So, Damien?" I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, we're gonna give you a verbal warning tonight. To just make sure you have your insurance card." And it took everything in me to not say that was definitely more than a verbal warning. Loudspeaker, hands on the roof of the car, vicious dog. You made me cut you off so I didn't miss my turn. It was more than just a verbal warning. Anyways, with that being said, enjoy your coffee. Have a wonderful morning. Talk to God if needed. Later.